Picture this. You're moving through your day like any other. Maybe you're grabbing a coffee on your lunch break. Maybe you're walking down the street. Maybe you're at work surrounded by conversations and background noise. There's laughter, the hum of people talking, the shuffle of movement all around. You're just another man in the middle of it. And then something shifts. It's subtle, almost unnoticeable if you weren't paying attention. But there it is. A pair of eyes holds yours for just a moment longer than it should. A body angles just slightly in your direction, as if drawn to you without conscious thought. She doesn't smile, she doesn't speak, but you feel it. A spark of attention, quiet but undeniable, has been sent your way. This is where most men get lost. They expect attraction to show up like fireworks, bold, obvious. They think it'll arrive wrapped in clear flirting, direct compliments, or dramatic gestures. But brother, real attraction doesn't usually enter with a bang. More often, it creeps in like a whisper. It hides in the spaces between words, in the timing of her glance, in the softness of her energy when it shifts in your direction. It lives in the subtle, the quiet, the moments that could easily pass you by if you weren't tuned in. And that's the tragedy for so many men. They walk right past signals that could have changed everything, simply because they weren't looking. Think about how powerful this really is. A woman may never walk up to you and say, "I'm interested." That's not how most women operate. Instead, she let her body, her presence, her tiny adjustments do the talking. She'll create a silent dialogue, one only the aware will ever catch. Her eyes linger a second longer, her steps slow when yours do, her laugh arrives quicker when it's you who sparks it. These aren't accidents. They're signals, but signals wrapped in quiet packaging. The truth is, attraction is a language. And like any language, you either learn to read it or you remain blind to it. Most men speak only in words. They believe unless she says something, nothing's there. But a man who understands women knows better. He knows that what's unsaid often carries more weight than what is spoken out loud. He knows that energy doesn't lie. Her silence, her stillness, the rhythm she slips into when you're near, those are all forms of communication. And they're often more honest than any words could ever be. So here's the shift. Stop waiting for the obvious. Stop expecting the fireworks, the bold confessions, the unmistakable signs. Instead, open your awareness to the whispers. Notice the way her attention bends toward you even when she doesn't move. Notice the small changes, the almost invisible invitations. Because once you start paying attention, you'll realize something most men never will. Her silence is not emptiness. Her silence is full. Full of meaning, full of intention, full of truths she may never put into words. And when you learn to hear what the silence is saying, brother, you'll never see attraction the same way again. One of the most powerful yet unnoticed signs of attraction is the way a woman begins to mirror your energy. It's so subtle that most men never see it, but once you do, it changes the way you look at interactions forever. You lean back in your chair, relaxed, casual, and seconds later, she leans back too. You fold your arms without thinking, and a moment later her hands shift, echoing your movement. You laugh, and though she may not even know what was funny, she laughs too. On the surface it looks like nothing, just coincidence. But beneath the surface, it's connection. Her body is syncing with yours without her even realizing it. Think of it like music. Two instruments can be playing entirely different notes, but when they find harmony, the sound feels effortless. That's what happens when a woman is drawn to you. She unconsciously tunes herself to your rhythm. You become the beat she follows. She doesn't plan it. She doesn't think about it. But her energy gravitates toward, matching yours. This is not just imitation. This is alignment. It's her subconscious reaching for closeness. A quiet signal that being in rhythm with you feels natural, and it's not just her body language. It's the small choices, the unconscious decisions she makes in the moment. Walk beside her and watch her steps fall into the same pace as yours. You speed up, she speeds up. You slow down, she slows down. You order a certain drink, and suddenly she's curious to try it too. You use a certain phrase or slang, and before long, she's slipping it into her own sentences. These aren't accidents. These are quiet signs of her wanting to create sameness with you. It's a sense of we without ever saying it out loud. Mirroring happens because people are wired to reflect what they're emotionally invested in. Think about it when you're deeply engaged in a conversation with someone. You find yourself nodding when they nod, leaning in when they lean in, laughing when they laugh. It's not something you force. It just happens. Attraction amplifies this. When she's drawn to you, her entire system begins to look for harmony with yours, as if being in sync with you feels like the right place to be. Pay attention to how different this is from how she acts with others. With people she's indifferent toward, her rhythm is her own. She doesn't adjust, doesn't echo, doesn't sync. But with you, something changes. Her movements, her tone, her choices start to reflect yours like a subtle dance. This is the body's way of saying, I want to connect with you. It's her subconscious building a bridge, step by step, movement by movement. So the next time you notice someone laughing, when you laugh, leaning back after you lean back, or using words you've been using, don't brush it off. Look closer. Because what looks like coincidence is often chemistry in disguise. It's her quiet way of telling you, without words, that she feels a rhythm with you she doesn't feel with anyone else. And brother, when you recognize that rhythm, you'll see that it's one of the clearest, most honest signals of attraction there is. There's something powerful that happens when a woman is attracted to you. Time begins to bend. It doesn't always show up in the ways you expect. She's not going to tell you outright, I just want to be here longer. Instead, she shows it in the way she lingers, in the way she refuses to let the moment end even when it should. Most men miss this because they're focused only on the words exchanged. But if you pay attention to what's happening around the conversation, you'll see it clearly. Imagine you're talking with her. The conversation seems finished. The natural endpoint has arrived. Yet she doesn't leave. Instead, she throws in another question, something random, something that doesn't really need to be asked, just to keep the interaction alive. She could have said goodbye and walked away, but she doesn't. Maybe she pretends to scroll on her phone as if she has something important to check. But she stays right there, in your space, not moving on. That's not indecision. That's interest. Attraction stretches time because she doesn't want the moment to be over. Being around you feels different, so she unconsciously finds ways to extend it. It doesn't matter if it's 5 extra seconds or 5 extra minutes. That time becomes valuable to her. Think about it when you're with someone who excites you. You don't rush to leave. You savor it. And that's exactly what she's doing. These moments are easy to overlook because they're wrapped in ordinary actions. She might ask about something trivial like where you bought your shoes, or what you think about a random topic, just so there's another thread to pull. She might accidentally take the long route when walking beside you, or pause before saying goodbye, giving you the chance to keep it going. It's not about the question, not about the topic, not about the route. It's about presence. She's telling you, silently, I'm not ready for this to end. There's also an energy shift in lingering. You'll feel it. Even if her words are casual, her body language will betray her. She'll hover a little closer. Her eyes will hold yours a second longer. Her posture will angle toward you instead of away. The conversation may seem small on the surface, but the weight of her presence carries something bigger. The space becomes charged because she's investing more of herself into staying near you. The mistake most men make is brushing this off as politeness. They think she's just being nice, or that she's too polite to leave abruptly. But brother, women don't repeatedly find excuses to hang around men they don't care about. If she wanted to be gone, she would be gone. Lingering is not politeness, it's interest disguised as casualness. So the next time you notice her standing there after the moment should have ended, don't ignore it. Recognize it for what it is, her quiet way of stretching time with you. Because when she lingers, she's not just standing in your presence, she's silently telling you that being near you feels better than moving on. And that, brother, is one of the purest signals of attraction you'll ever see. When a woman is drawn to you, the way she treats you compared to everyone else will always reveal itself in the smallest details. Most men look for the grand gestures, the obvious signs, the direct statements. But attraction often slips out in quieter ways, through subtle shifts in tone, through her memory of things you didn't even realize you said, or the way her energy reacts the moment you appear. If you slow down enough to notice these things, you'll start to see that she's communicating interest without ever putting it into words. Pay attention to her voice. A woman can speak to a room in one way: professional, casual, guarded, simply polite, but the moment her focus turns to you, the sound changes. It might soften, as if she's letting her guard down. It might carry more warmth, like she's speaking only to you, even in a crowded space. Sometimes it even turns playful, teasing you in ways she doesn't tease anyone else. That shift is not random. She's adjusting her energy for you, tuning her voice to create a connection. It's not about what she says. It's about the music underneath her words. The rhythm slows, the tone deepens, the words feel directed with intent. You can sense the intimacy in it, even if no one else in the room notices. That's her way of carving out a private space between you. Hidden inside something that sounds ordinary to everyone else, then there's her memory. Most men underestimate how powerful this sign is. You might casually mention that you like your coffee black, or that a certain song always gets you in a good mood, or that you used to play basketball as a kid. To you, it's nothing, just passing words, forgotten the moment you said them. But weeks later, she brings it up again. She remembers without you ever repeating it. That's not coincidence. That's intention. Women don't store details about men they're indifferent toward. When she holds onto those fragments, it's because you matter to her. It means she's carrying you in her thoughts, even when you're not around. That's one of the purest signals of genuine interest. She doesn't need to say, "I like you," when her actions are already whispering it through, the way she remembers your small truths. And then there's her reaction to your presence. Watch closely, because this one tells you everything you need to know. She may seem calm and casual around others, but the second you walk into the room, her energy shifts. Sometimes she straightens her posture as if wanting to look her best. Sometimes she adjusts her hair or her clothes, unconsciously preparing herself for your eyes. Other times, the effect is the opposite. She goes quieter or self-conscious, because your presence makes her aware of herself in a way no one else does. In both cases, you change the atmosphere for her. She's not the same with you as she is with everyone else. And that shift is her body's way of revealing what her words will not. Brother. These small details, her tone, her memory, her shift in energy are not accidents. They are her unspoken confessions. They're the subtle ways she's letting you know that you stand apart from the rest. You don't need her to say it outright. All you need is to pay attention, because the truth is already there, wrapped in the details she could never fake. Attraction rarely introduces itself with bold declarations. Instead, it hides in the subtle accidents, the quiet invitations, the way she lets her guard down without ever saying why. When a woman wants to be closer to you, she doesn't always walk up and confess it. Instead, she lets her actions create small openings, testing the space between you. These little moments may look like nothing to the untrained eye, but if you're paying attention, you'll see there her way of showing interest without words. Notice how she engineers what appear to be coincidences. Maybe she brushes against your hand, bumps into you more than once, or drops something near you, so you'll help her pick it up. Sometimes she asks for help with something simple, something she could easily handle on her own. These aren't clumsy accidents. They're deliberate opportunities dressed up as chance. She's giving you a chance to respond, to meet her halfway, to show that you recognize the invitation. Then there's the way her energy lights up when you acknowledge her. Watch her closely. Does her face brighten when you give her attention? Do her eyes spark? Her smile quicken? Her posture open up? That's not casual friendliness. That's her heart slipping through her body before she can control it. Women can manage their words. They can play it cool. They can't always control the way their face reacts when they feel truly seen by the man they want. That glow, that brightness, that unguarded light is a silent confession more honest than anything she could say out loud, beyond the moments themselves. Notice how she begins to make space for you in her world. She may not say, "I want you here," but her actions reveal it. She shifts her schedule so her path crosses with yours more often. She shows up where she knows you'll be, framing it as coincidence when it's anything but. She finds small ways to include you in her routines, her conversations, her daily life. That's not chance, it's intention disguised as accident. She's weaving you into her world thread by thread, showing you she wants your presence without making it too obvious. The mistake men make here is waiting for verbal confirmation, waiting for her to spell it out. But brother, most women don't operate that way. They prefer to let their actions reveal their interest, to leave openings for you to step into. They create the opportunity, but they don't always take the next step. That's your role. When she brushes your hand, she's saying, I want to be closer, but I need you to close the gap. When she lingers, when she remembers, when she lights up at your attention, she's leaving the door cracked open. All you have to do is walk through it. So understand this. Attraction doesn't need a speech. It reveals itself in silence, in small accidents, in energy shifts you can feel if you're awake enough to notice. And when you do notice, when you see her weaving these threads toward you, you'll understand that her actions are already saying the words her lips never will.